Hi guys, today we're going to solve another fuel combustion problem, and this time we're going to do our calculation based on flue gas analysis. So what does it mean? So if you remember sa previous problem natin, we solved our fuel combustion problem based on fuel analysis. So anong ibig sabihin nun? It means that the components of our fuel are given. So based from that, we will be able to determine yung iba pang components ng ating system. But this time, we will do it in the other way, no? We will base our calculation from the flue gas analysis. So that means the compositions of our stock gas are given, and we will use that in order to determine the other components. Okay, so to do that, we will be solving this problem here, which we got from the book Stoichiometry of Fuel Combustion by Evelyn Laurito. So if you look at that reference book, you can see that the solution is already there. Kaya natin ginawa itong video natin because there are some values na sometimes confusing sa mga estudyante na binabasa yung book and they don't know kung saan nanggaling yung mga figures or values na yon. So on this video, we're going to explain that para mas mapadali yung kanilang pagre-review. Okay, so let's start by reading our problem. A pure saturated hydrocarbon with formula CnH2n plus 2 is burned with excess air. So our hydrocarbon is having this general formula, CnH2n plus 2. Since it is saturated, we already know that this is an alkane. And aside from that, this general formula is a formula for alkane. Okay, so our alkane is burned with excess air. The Orsat analysis of the product of combustion shows 9.08% CO2, 1.63% CO, 5.28% O2, and no free H2. So, kita ninyo dito, given yung Orsat analysis natin. So, that means alam natin yung components ng ating stock gas. So, we need to calculate first the formula of the hydrocarbon. So, meron tayong general formula rito. Then, we need to determine kung ano ba talaga yung hydrocarbon natin. And we need to determine also the percent excess air and the kilogram of dry air per kilogram of hydrocarbon. Okay, so, let's start by determining muna yung mga given natin. Ano? So, alam natin that our fuel is CnH2n plus 2. So, that means this is an alkane. So, hindi pa natin alam kung ano bang hydrocarbon niya, no? Kung ano ba exactly yung ating organic compound dito. No? So, we know that based from this Orsat analysis, our product shows we have CO2, which is 9.08%. We also have CO, which is 1.63%. And then we have O2, which is 5.28%. And then it is mentioned that we do not have free H2, which makes our calculation easier, di ba? And as we know, kapag meron tayong presence ng carbon monoxide, that means we have an incomplete combustion dito sa ating system. And since this is an Orsat analysis, so wala tayong water dito. So, based from this composition, we know that ang natitirang percentage natin dito will be nitrogen. So, if we're going to check this, okay, so let's use our calculator. So, we have 9.08 plus 1.63 plus 5.28. So, we have 15.99. So, that means the rest is nitrogen, N2. So, let us subtract 100. So, we have 84.01% nitrogen. Okay? So, let us use that. Our N2 is 84.01%. Okay? So, nalaman natin yan base sa ating percentage. And it is easy to determine this because we are informed that there is no free H2. Kaya alam natin that ang natitira is nitrogen. Okay? So, we're going to start solving the problem. First, we need to set our basis. So, dahil given yung mga component ng ating stock gas, so it is just logical that our basis will be from the stock gas. And that is why we call this calculation based on flue gas analysis, because we are basing dito sa ating product. So, let us have our basis. Okay, so our basis is that we have 100 kilogram moles of dry stock gas. Okay? Alright, so now we need to start solving for that. If we have 100 kilogram mole of dry stock gas, so automatic lahat ng values natin dito will be in kilogram mole. So we have 9.08 kilogram mole of CO2, 1.63 kilogram mole of CO, 5.28 kilogram mole of O2, and 84.01 kilogram mole of N2. So automatically yan na yung mga values ng ating stock gas, no, in kilogram mole based from 100 kilogram mole of dry stock gas. Alright, so alam na natin yung ating nitrogen. Our nitrogen is equal to 84.01 kilogram mole. Okay? Okay, so isa sa mga dapat nating tandaan when we are solving fuel combustion based from flue gas analysis, isa sa pinakamadali nating pwedeng gawing way to solve it is take note natin itong nitrogen. Because our nitrogen is inert, so hindi siya kasama sa mga reaction natin, kaya we're just going to have a plain material balance lang, ano? But in this example, it is assumed that we do not have nitrogen dito sa ating fuel because given naman na pure saturated hydrocarbon lang yung fuel natin. So, wala tayong nitrogen dito. So, that means our nitrogen is all coming from air. Okay? So, since this is all coming from air, we can easily determine kung gaano karaming oxygen meron tayo sa air. And that will be our oxygen supply, di ba? So, that is our O2 from air. Okay, so O2 from air is equal to, okay, so the number of mole of our nitrogen, 84.01 kilogram mole, multiply to the ratio of our nitrogen to air, which is 79 kilogram mole per 21 kilogram mole of O2. Okay, so this is N2 and this is O2. So this will be cancelled out. So ang magiging answer natin dito will be kilogram mole of O2 from air. So let us solve that. Use uli natin itong ating calculator. So we have 84.01 times 21 divided by 79. So we have 22.33. So we have 22.33 kilogram mole of O2 from air. Okay, so we also call this as O2 supplied, no? So in here, we're going just to call it as O2 from air. So how much O2 which is not used? Alright, so we have to take note that this is an Orsat analysis, no? So that means hindi natin kinonsider yung water dito sa ating calculation, di ba? And considering that we do not have free H2, that means lahat ng hydrogen natin dito sa ating fuel has been converted to water. Okay? So, pag tinignan natin itong oxygen natin, so yung mga oxygen natin from air, ginamit natin siya and it produced CO2, it produced CO, and then we have O2, okay, free O2 dito sa ating stock gas. Now, if we calculate all of this oxygen na nagamit dito, does it equal dito sa lahat ng oxygen na sinupply natin, itong oxygen from air? Because it will not be equal since nagkaroon tayo ng water. So, some of our oxygen has been converted to water. Okay? So, hindi lang yan na isama dito because we are considering Orsat analysis dito. No? So, wala talagang water dito sa ating analysis. So, we need to determine how much oxygen has been used to convert hydrogen to water. So, we will call that as O2 unaccounted for. That means it is not mentioned here. So, kailangan makuha natin gaano karaming oxygen ang nagamit dito sa conversion to CO2, conversion to CO, and then itong unused O2 dito. Okay, so we should not forget that our O2 supplied is 22.33 kilogram mole. Okay, so first check natin yung ating reaction in which some carbons are converted to carbon dioxide. Okay, so we have 1:1 carbon and we have 1:1 O2. So, kung gaano karami yung ating carbon dito, or CO2 dito sa ating Orsat, which is 9.08. So, that means the O2 used to convert our carbon to CO2 is also 9.08. Okay? So, yan yung oxygen na ginamit natin to convert some carbon into CO2. How about some of our carbon which was converted to carbon monoxide? So, sabi natin, some of our oxygen or carbon here has been converted to carbon monoxide. So, balance muna natin yung reaction. 1:1 carbon, and then we have only one oxygen here, so we have 1/2 of O2 here. So, how much CO we have here? We have 1.63. So, here we have 1.63. So, 1/2 of 1.63, we have 0.815. Okay, so we have 0.815 kilogram mole. Okay, and we have unused O2 here, which is 5.28. Okay, so we have O2 unused, which is 5.28 kilogram mole. So, how much O2 accounted? O2 accounted is equal to 9.08 plus 0.815 plus 5.28 kilogram mole, which is, okay, let us use our calculator again. So, we have 0.815 plus 9.08 plus 5.28. Okay? So, we have 15.175 kilogram mole. So, how much O2 unaccounted? Okay, unaccounted, which means hindi siya makikita rito because this is Orsat analysis. So, what we'll do is just to subtract this value from our O2 supplied. So, don't forget, we have supplied here from our air 22.33 kilogram mole of O2. Okay, so we have 22.33 kilogram mole of O2 from air minus itong mga oxygen na nagamit natin and present sa ating Orsat analysis. So, minus 15.175 kilogram mole of O2 accounted. Diba? So, that means our O2 unaccounted is equal to 22.33 minus 15.175. So, we have 7.155. So, we can say this is 7.16. 7.16 kilogram mole. So, yan yung mga oxygen na wala dito, no? Okay, pag inad natin lahat ng oxygen dito, equal lang siya sa 15.175. Samantalang ang sinupply natin is 22.33. So, therefore, may mga nawawalang oxygen na 7.16 kilogram mole. Okay, so it means that this is the amount of oxygen that is converted to water. Now, since we know that all of that oxygen has been converted to water, we know that from our fuel, meron tayong hydrogen. So, let's say our H2 from our fuel has been converted to water. Okay, so we have 1/2 O2 in here. Okay, so all of this O2 unaccounted is 7.16. So we have 7.16 kilogram mole in here. So how much H2 do we have in our fuel that is converted to water? So wag nyo kakalimutan, we do not have free H2. Kaya mas madali yung ating computation. Ano? Okay, so now we need to calculate our H2 in which we can get this by ratio. So we have 7.16 kilogram mole of O2. Then for every 1/2 of O2, we have 1 kilogram mole of H2, right? Which of course we know in our fractions, we have 7.16 kilogram mole of O2 times 2 kilogram mole of H2 over 1 kilogram mole of O2. Okay? So, we just shifted itong ating denominator na 2 sa ating numerator. So, this will be cancelled out. So, that means our H2 in our fuel. Okay? So, this is H2 in our fuel. So, H2 in our fuel is equal to 7.16 times 2. Okay, so we just need to multiply 7.16 by 2. So, let us check. 7.16 times 2 is equal to 14.32. So, we have 14.32 kilogram mole of H2. So, alam na natin kung gaano karaming H2 meron tayo sa ating fuel, no? But, if you remember, ang kailangan nating makuha is yung formula ng ating hydrocarbon, which is CnH2n plus N. So, kailangan makuha natin yung value ng hydrogen natin, which is H. Okay, so we have H2 here. So, therefore, para makuha natin yung hydrogen, we need to multiply this by 2, which is 28.64 kilogram mole. Okay, so we have hydrogen which is 28.64 kilogram mole. Multiply lang natin siya sa 2. Okay? Okay, so alam na natin kung gaano karaming hydrogen meron tayo. So, kailangan nating malaman gaano karaming carbon meron tayo. Pag tinignan natin itong ating given dito, no? Wala namang carbon dito sa air. Lahat ng carbon is nanggaling lang dito sa ating fuel. So, ang ibig sabihin, our carbon has been converted to CO2 and CO. Since 1:1 naman tayo palagi, so that means our carbon is equal to 9.08 and 1.63. So, our carbon, okay, so here we need to get our carbon. Our carbon is equal to 9.08 kilogram mole from CO2 plus 1.63 kilogram mole from carbon monoxide. So, therefore, our carbon is equal to, let us use our calculator. Our carbon is equal to 9.08 plus 1.63. So, this is equal to 10.71. Okay, so we have 10.71 kilogram mole. Okay, so alam na natin kung gaano karaming moles meron tayo sa carbon at gaano karaming moles meron tayo sa hydrogen. Okay, so since alam natin yung formula, CnH2n plus N, pwede natin kunin yung ratio niyan. So, let's say we have carbon over hydrogen. Okay, so for carbon over hydrogen, gaano karaming number of moles? So, ang ating carbon, which is 10.71. And gaano karaming kilogram mole ang ating hydrogen? It is 28.64. 0.64. Diba? Alright, and this is equal to our carbon, which is equal to N, and our H, which is 2N plus, okay, I'm sorry, this is not N. This is supposed to be 2, no? This is not N. Okay, so this is 2N plus 2. And that's what we're going to see here. 2N plus 2 siya, no? 2N plus 2. So, I made a mistake dun sa baba. So, this is 2N plus 2. Okay, so now we just need to solve for the value of N para ma-determine na natin yung ating formula here, no? So, N lang naman kasi yung kailangan natin para makuha na natin kung anong hydrocarbon ba meron tayo dito. So, we're going to solve this, okay, and we're going to do it fast para hindi tayo ma-stuck sa math. Okay, so we have 10.71 divided by 28.64, which is equal to 0.374. And then I'm going to transpose this 2N plus 2 is equal to N, okay? So we have 0.374 times 2. We're going to multiply that by 2, which is 0.748, okay? So we have 0.748 times N plus 1 is equal to N, okay? So, finactor out ko lang yung 2, no? Para alam na kagad natin that we are working on the value of N. Okay, so now I'm going to transpose the 0.748N to the right side of the equation. So I will have 0.748 is equal to N minus 0.748N. Okay, so now I have 1 minus 0.748, which is 0.252. Okay, so I have 0.252N times 0.748. So therefore, our N is equal to 0.748 divided by 0.252. So I'm going to do that. 0.748 divided by our previous answer. So this is equal to 2.967. Okay, so 2.967, which we can say nearly 3. So that means our N is equal to 3. So what we need to determine is the formula for our hydrocarbon, 2N plus 2. Since our N is equal to 3, or almost equal to 3, so that means we have C3, H2 times 3 will be 6 plus 2. So therefore, our answer here is C3H8, which is a propane. Okay, so this is our answer para sa first question natin, which is kung ano ang ating organic material here, the formula of the hydrocarbon. So next is to find what is the excess air. Okay, so how are we going to get kung ano ba yung excess air natin? Okay, so ang next task natin is to find the excess air. Okay, so how are we going to get the excess air? So tatandaan natin ang definition ng excess air. So excess air is the difference, okay, between the supplied air, okay, supplied air, and the air consumed during complete combustion. Diba? Yan natin makukuha yung excess air natin. Now, excess O2 is O2 supplied minus O2 used in complete combustion. No? If we're going to assume that all of our fuel, all of the combustible materials in our fuel has undergone complete combustion. Okay, so meron tayong given dito. Let me write this sa ibaba, no, para hindi tayo pabalik-balik. our stack gas have this analysis. Okay, so yung number of moles na natin because we already have our basis, no, para hindi tayo malito. We have CO2 which is 9.08 kilogram mole. Our CO which is 1.63 kilogram mole. And our O2 which is 5.28 kilogram mole. Okay, so yan yung mga given natin sa stack gas. And we should not forget kung gaano karaming air meron tayo supplied. Okay? Here we have O2 supplied here. So let me write this. Our O2 supplied is 22.33. So O2 supplied or O2 from air is equal to 22.33 kilogram mole of O2. Okay? Yan yung ating O2 from air. So, sabi natin, kailangan natin is yung O2 or air supplied. Okay, so yung O2 coming from air minus yung O2 which is used for complete combustion. So alam natin if we have complete combustion, we will have all of our combustible materials such as carbon to be converted to CO2. Okay, and other combustible materials will be converted to their state kung saan nagkaroon sila ng complete combustion, no? But in this case, we only have hydrocarbon. So, ang magiging palatandaan lang natin that we have a complete combustion is yung CO2. So, in here, sa ating CO2, meron tayong 9.08 kilogram mole. Okay, so that means our carbon has been converted to CO2. Ginawa na natin yan kanina, no? So, our CO2 is 9.08, so that means our CO2 is also 9.08. Alright, but the question is, meron na tayong free O2 dito. Okay, so, ito yung mga oxygen na hindi nagamit. Some of the oxygen, okay, has been converted to water. Okay, so, ang kailangan nating malaman ngayon, since in order to get yung excess air natin, is air supplied minus air used for complete combustion. So, kailangan kasi lahat ng oxygen natin, okay, or lahat ng carbon natin, I mean, has been converted to CO2. Okay? So, tandaan natin, saan napunta yung mga oxygen natin? Okay, so susulat ko lang, oxygen is coming from air. So, saan napunta yung mga oxygen natin? Isa, napunta siya sa carbon dioxide. Na-convert siya completely to carbon dioxide. Some has been used, okay, to produce carbon monoxide, which is incomplete combustion. And then, yung iba naman is na-convert to water. And then, meron din tayong unused O2. So, yun yung mga pinuntahan ng ating oxygen coming from air, di ba? Now, sabi natin, para makuha natin yung percent excess air, so it's also equal to the percent excess ng oxygen. Okay, para makuha natin yan, kailangan makuha natin yung O2 for complete combustion, di ba? Combustion. It means that wala tayong naging carbon monoxide. Lahat is na-convert to carbon dioxide. Okay? And then, gaano karaming oxygen meron tayo na excess aside from that, okay? So, now meron tayong free O2. Ito yung mga hindi nagamit. So, para malaman natin kung gaano karaming oxygen yung excess natin, kailangan mawala tong carbon monoxide. Okay, so we need to convert that to carbon dioxide. So, if we convert that to carbon dioxide, so we will have another combustion process here. We have CO2. So, we have 1/2 of O2 here. So, gaano karaming carbon monoxide meron tayo? 1.63, no? So, we have 1.63 ng carbon monoxide. So, ngayon, kailangan nating makuha gaano karaming oxygen ang meron tayo. So, it will be 1/2 of 1.63. So, that means we have 1.63 divided by 2, which is equal to 0.815. So, we have 0.815. So, ganito pa karaming oxygen ang kailangan natin para ma-convert pa itong CO na nandito. Kasi we need to convert this to CO2. we need to convert that to CO2 para magkaroon tayo ng complete combustion sa lahat. So that means, itong gagamitin natin na oxygen na to, in order to produce complete combustion ng CO, syempre gagamitin niyan galing dito sa free O2. So that means, our excess O2 is equal to yung ating free O2, which is 5.28. Okay, so we have 5.28 O2, okay, free O2, minus itong O2 na kailangan mo para ma-burn pa natin itong carbon monoxide to carbon dioxide. And that is equal to 0.815. From CO to CO2. So, yan yun. So, yung oxygen natin, nagagamitin to convert itong natitirang unburned na carbon monoxide. So, that means our excess O2 is equal to, let's say, 5.28 minus 0.815, which is 4.465 kilogram mole of O2. So, yan yung ating excess O2. So, ang kailangan nating makuha is ano ba yung percent excess air, di ba? So, we should remember that yung percent excess air natin is just equal to percent excess O2. Pareho lang yung ratio nila. Okay? So, how are we going to do that? So, percent excess air or percent excess O2 will be the O2 excess, which is 4.465 kilogram mole. So, yan yung excess O2 natin. Then, divided by our supplied O2, which is 22.33. Tama ba? Sinulat natin dito yan. Sana yan? Ito. O2 from air, which is 22.33 kilogram mole, minus, okay, our excess O2, which is 4.465 kilogram mole times 100. Okay, so that means our percent excess air is equal to, so solve natin siya with our calculator again. So we have 4.465 divided by 22.33 minus 4.465. So this is equal to 24.99 times 100. This is 24.99, which is 25%. No? So that means we have 25% excess air dito sa ating sample problem. So, isa na lang ang kailangan natin kunin, and we need to get the kilogram of dry air per kilogram of hydrocarbon. So, we need to get the letter C, kilogram mole. Oh, sorry, we are after the actual weight now. So, we have kilogram of dry air over the kilogram of hydrocarbon. Okay, so don't forget our hydrocarbon is propane. So we have C3H8. Okay, so yan yung ating hydrocarbon. Okay, so what is the weight of our air? So makukuha natin yan just by using kung gaano karaming number of moles ng ating O2 and N2, no? Kasi yung air natin is only O2 and N2. So, gaano karaming oxygen supplied natin? 22.33 kilogram mole. So, 22.33 kilogram mole of O2. Plus, gaano karaming N2? Ilang kilogram mole ng N2 meron tayo? Sinolve na yan. Unang-una nating sinolve yan. We have 84.01. So, we have 84.01 kilogram mole of N2. So, pag pinag-add natin yan, immediately we have the kilogram mole of air. Okay, so, we just need to multiply that sa molecular weight ng air, which is 29 kilogram of air per 1 kilogram mole of air. Okay, so kapag multiply natin yan, sa kanyang molecular weight, you will get the number of moles of air. So, we will do the same sa ating hydrocarbon. Meron lang naman tayong hydrogen and carbon. Okay? Sa ating hydrocarbon. Okay? So, gaano karaming carbon meron tayo? So, nasolve natin yung kanina, I think. Meron tayong carbon sa... Dito natin sinolve. Okay. We have 10.71 kilogram mole because 9.08 kilogram mole ng carbon sa CO2 and 1.63 kilogram mole sa CO. So, we have 10.71 kilogram mole ng carbon. So, 10.71 kilogram mole of carbon. So, multiply na natin siya sa molecular weight niya, which is 12 kilogram of carbon for every 1 kilogram mole of carbon. Plus hydrogen. So, gaano karaming hydrogen meron tayo? Hydrogen natin, na-calculate na natin kanina, I think. H2, dito yata. Let's say here. We have 28.64 hydrogen. Okay, so we have 28.64 hydrogen. Kilogram mole of hydrogen. So, molecular weight niya is just 1, di ba? So, we have 1 kilogram mole of hydrogen per 1 kilogram of hydrogen. Okay, so, we'll be cancelling out itong mga units natin. So, everything we have will be in kilogram. Okay, so, solve natin using our calculator. So, numerator muna tayo para hindi tayo mahirapan. We have 22.33 plus 84.01 times 29 is equal to 3,083. So, we have 3,083.86 kilogram of air over, so, denominator na tayo. We have 10.71 times 12 plus 28.64 will be equal to 157.16 kilogram of hydrocarbon C3H8. Okay, so this is equal to, let us try to solve that. We have 3,083.86 divided by our previous answer, which is 157.16. So we have 19.62 kilogram of dry air per kilogram of C3H8. And this is our final answer for now, letter C requirement. Okay, so as you can see, na-solve na natin yung problem from our reference material. And we solve it in a different way para mas makita ninyo kung paano natin nakukuha yung mga values natin. So, I hope this helped you para dito sa solution ng problem na to. Mas naintindihan nyo sana yung concept or kung paano siya kino-compute. So, thank you very much for watching and have a nice day. To watch more of our lecture videos about engineering and STEM subjects, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and click on the notification bell para lagi kayong updated sa mga videos na i-upload namin. We are regularly uploading tutorial videos in engineering, mathematics, chemistry, physics, at iba pang subject na magagamit ninyo sa inyong pagre-review. So, thank you very much sa patuloy ninyong pagsuporta sa enginerds.org.